Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to Sparxe 2 key event presented by Joke. I hope you're all doing well. We have one final match in the finals before we wrap this up and cruise along this tournament to the grand finals. But for now, it is going to be a rematch between Zoobin and Basil. These two players met in the winners quarterfinals and where Basil actually swept Zoobin 5-0. So this is going to be a test of redemption for Zoobin. Can they take revenge from what was stolen from them in the quarterfinals, or will Basil take another match against Zoobin and punch their ticket into the losers grand finals? We're gonna find out here. As always, my name is Era Sunny. Commentating along with me is gonna be Maddy. How's it going, Maddy?
It is going good. I'm excited to see this rematch. You know, we saw that Basil sweep in the winners quarterfinals, and now they get to prove themselves once more against each other in a much harder pool in the losers finals.
Yeah, I believe that is the standout point, is that both of these players coming back together to verse, but we are now 2 stages ahead of where they originally versed each other. They are now in the losers finals, which the finals map pool is nowhere near as hard, or is nowhere near as easy as what the quarterfinals map pool once was. We are nearing that 300 BPM barrier on some of these charts. It is a bit crazy on how insanely scaled this map pool has came, but I mean, these 2 players are extremely good at physicality. Basil being one of the more standout physical players than anything, but Zoobin definitely not too far behind, especially with their technical abilities. They're one of the more better tech players in this tournament, and I'm really excited to see how they do. We did see a snippet of Zoobin's performance yesterday against Kalaipora, but unfortunately we only got to see 1 map, since Kalaipora did in fact had a bit of wrist injuries and had to forfeit the match. So unfortunately, we only saw 1 map from Zoobin, but Basil had a match against Dragon, and I believe they won 6-1 in finals, so Zoobin has a bit of homework to study with on how Basil performed against Dragon, but we're going to have to see heading into the warm-ups.
Yeah, in this warm-up is, you know, it kind of looks like it's around the difficulty of the finals pool.
Yeah, this was a unfinished map from Zoobin. They did use this against Kalaipora, and they said beforehand that this was a unfinished chart mapped by him, but it's always nice to see that people are mapping 2 key, even if it's not from our mappers over here, from the staff. The actual players going out of the way to chart 2 key maps, always a sight to see, always fun.
As we kind of see Zoobin showing off the power of alternating here, hitting these really fast 1-4s.
Yeah, it's absolutely cruising through this their own warm-up. I wouldn't be surprised if Basil has a custom of their own. And a thing I would like to mention is that, like I said, these players are both physically capable at pretty much playing every single chart in this pool very efficiently. It's going to come down to strategizing, even maybe breakpoints on who has the better ratio, 200 count. It's going to come down to the slightest of margins from these players.
Yeah. And we know that both these players do have those insane ratios as well, as we've seen in the earlier rounds. So it's going to really come down to, like you said, that who's going to get the lower 300 count, who's going to not miss more, who's going to hold the higher accuracy.
Yeah, we're just getting underway with Basil's warm-up. It's actually going to be a 1-key chart.
Yes, Basil also does have a wrist injury, so playing half alt on the right hand.
How come Zoobin, whenever Zoobin versus somebody, they always have a wrist injury? Is it because of the warm-up? Who knows? The warm-up has a secret
wrist spraining ability?
Yeah.
Is it specifically the right wrist? Because when I played Zoobin, my right keycap decided to break.
This, kind of going back in time to 1Q World Cup, I don't think, as far as I know, that Basil or Zoobin ever versed each other in that tournament. Maybe. Yeah, they actually did. They versed in the losers finals, in which I believe that ended in a win by default for the United Kingdom, if I am correct.
1Q World Cup?
Yeah, for 1Q World Cup, these two actually duked it out against each other.
I don't think they did in the losers finals because Basil wasn't on USA and we played UK in losers finals.
They were USC.
Yes.
It says finals. It could be it says losers finals. The first match.
Oh, right. There's two.
Yeah, not the conditional.
Yes. Oh right, Basil's power went out, wasn't it?
I think so. I do recall.
Like they didn't have internet.
I do recall something about a power outage or just a loss of internet from USC side.
Yeah.
Which also shows that Basil definitely is one of the pioneers off of that team. It is always great to have a full roster when going into a match, especially when in the finals. But if you lose a player like Basil, who has, I mean, of course we're talking 1Q here, but still, it just really shows that if they find a certain tournament that's that they never learned or never really found the gist of, such as 1Key, I don't think I've seen Basil ever play 1Key until 1Key World Cup. And they absolutely dominated and took USC to the losers finals, which is no easy task to get all the way from, I believe, the round of 24. But I believe they were the few that got a bye from the round of 24.
Every US team got a bye from the round of 24. It was silly.
Yeah, so just concluding with this warm-up, Basil really popping up on this chart.
Yeah, showing that prowess in 1K as we were talking about it, but of course this is a 2-key tournament. So some of the traits do copy over, but it is a whole nother ballpark.
Yeah. We're gonna head into the rolls now. And gonna see an 18 from Basil. It's not the worst roll in the world. And we're gonna see a 41 from Zoobin, so they will be getting that first pick, and Basil will be opted for that first ban. It's gonna be a bit interesting to see what they want to go for. Maybe I would say probably Rice 4 would be your best bet. Try to avoid the more hard Rice, but I mean you're like these two players can play literally any of these maps, and they can pretty much do insanely well on it. I know Zoobin banned LN1 in their match against Zoobin4, I believe. And on Basil, I believe they banned LN2, so they might repeat the same bans as their previous matches.
Yeah, the LNs.
Oh, there's the Rice 4 ban.
Pretty hard, but yeah, Rice 4 getting banned out.
Definitely makes sense. I mean, like I said, that is a very tech-based chart, and that is definitely what Zoobin strives on the best. They are definitely one of the best, more technical-based players in this tournament, but Basil also can play some stuff like that, but maybe just a bit too out of their comfort zone. The snappings maybe just being a bit too uncomfortable, and maybe the BPM hitting a certain part where we're not very consistent, and we're going to see a long note 2 ban from Zoobin. Definitely makes sense. Like I said, in their match against Zoobin4 that did go into a win by default, they did knock out LN1, so they're probably not gonna really hang around that long outside of the field. It's probably just going to be those speed and rice kicks that these players are going to be more focused on.
Yeah, but as you say that, Zoobin's saying I got a good score on 0-1, so not banning it this time.
Okay, so maybe it looks like Zoobin is going to... Oh, Zoobin's ahead right in the race 3. This is the 198, I think it's 198, something ridiculously high. Anchor Hell. This is a single tapper's worst nightmare, as I don't think anybody in the world can single tap 198.5 BPM anchors. If you can, then okay.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if you could. Those are very fast.
Yeah, that is definitely not a very easy task to pull off for sure.
But I mean, it's a very comfortable pick from Zoobin, you know, playing as an alt player. These maps are very comfortable for you because you can just burst.
Yeah, this is like kind of forcing the players to start alternating. I know Zoobin alternates. We have the confirmation that Zoobin alternates. I think I heard Basil single taps.
Basil single taps except for the right hand because of the injury.
Okay, so they can kind of do both basically. They can single tap and alternate. Because that's what I do sometimes when during One Key World Cup, I switch between single tapping and alternating depending on the density of the map. And we're seeing an early break from Basil as we head into the shard. Zoobin starting off on a better foot than Basil, but this map just started and there are a lot more of these nasty anchors. Basil finds another break, but Zoobin finds a drag of 200s and a miss. That's going to trade that miss back and drop the accuracy down just a tad bit now. Roughly 6,000 points of difference as we head into a break section. And both these players starting to recover that accuracy and that combo.
Yeah, Zoobin having a much cleaner miss though. Only one to the side of Basil's few in that jack section, as Basil will find a miss in the free combo.
Yeah, that could have been maybe a hardware issue, maybe some form, maybe an Osu lag, or just kind of forgetting, maybe just a mind block or something, but that is definitely, like, out of all the places in this map, you don't want to miss there. And Zoobin now about to cross that 400 combo cap with a pretty solid accuracy, 99.1, but they drop a few 200s. Basil still not too far behind accuracy-wise, and they're about to climb over that 400 combo cap, so that will ease the bleeding by just a bit. But the anchors just ran right back, and that's actually going to catch up Zoobin as Basil now starting to bring this lead back. They have the accuracy favor, but Zoobin is rapidly climbing back. I think we're going to have to see another break from Zoobin, but Basil trades that miss back, and they drop it to the 98 range. Zoobin now having their 15,000 point back in their lead, and now it starts to increase to 20,000 as Basil finds more breaks.
Yeah, Basil just running out of stamina maybe at the end here, as these anchors just pick up and get absurdly hard. Zoobin going to cross that 400 combo cap with the 99, and is going to comfortably take this one.
Yeah, the final anchors raining down. Both players hitting that final section, but it just came down to who had the better miss count, and Zoobin getting a third of what Basil had. And look at those accuracies. They're insanely close.
Yeah, if not for the few misses that Basil found in that ending, this match would have been much closer.
Yeah, this is just showing the severity of how close these players can get on some judgments. Those 200 counts are near neck and neck. And even those ratios too, they're not too far apart, roughly 42-300s. It just came down to those miscounts, and Zoobin had the better miscount with only 2, while Basil having 6, both very impressive scores, but nothing too much, as that was off of Zoobin's pick, so they will be taking their own point. Basil now up for their pick. I don't know actually what they would want to go for. I mean, SV probably, maybe. They are a pretty solid SV player, probably one of the best in this tournament. They definitely like to show off their SV capability, but I don't know. They could also probably go for maybe Circus Gallop or... Well, no, probably not, because Zoobin said that that's the price they do best at. But it could be a mind game. And oh, they're going to jump into Hybrid 1.
Breaker 4, according to Basil.
Yes, this map is in fact 4 minutes, above 4 minutes, and also has should win an award for best background.
Yes, all of the seals in the background.
All the seals and the fibs.
The killer fibs.
Killer fibs. Killer fibs from San Diego. And just waiting for these players to ready up. This map has lots of tricky sections if you're not careful. There are lots of nasty shields throughout this chart that could definitely trip up some players, as well as just very dense LN sections overall. This is definitely the more dense hybrid. But it's also one of those charts where if you find breaks early on, it's not going to mean much to your score, as this map is nearly 4.5 minutes long. There is so much that can happen in this opening that it won't really affect you later on, but we're just going to have to see as we begin with this chart. Already some shields kind of raining down, kind of giving these players an idea on how this map is going to go.
As we're into the inverse.
Zoobin actually hitting a bit early on these releases. Basil fighting a bit better on these releases, but there's a break on those shields and those really awkward long jacks as well. I think they wouldn't be considered shields because they have a lot more than just a mini jack. And Zoobin finding another break. Their accuracy is now a full % below Basil's.
Yeah, and Basil's still holding on to that FC so far. So this lead just gonna continue to climb for them.
Yeah, but we are nearing the first quarter complete with this chart, so Zoobin has lots of room to climb up that accuracy. It's not the complete end of Zoobin's run, as they can start to catch up and kind of slow down this point lead going into Basil's favor, and that's definitely going to help Zoobin as they cross the 400 combo cap. Basil drops in combo, and now this lead is slowly withering down to less than 10,000 points. Basil finds another break, and Zoobin's starting to climb up that accuracy as they continue on, about to cross that 99% threshold, but Basil is also starting to ease that accuracy dropping as they're also starting to climb up as well. It's now less than 5,000 points between these two.
Yeah, crucial miss from Basil. Basil will find another. So this lead's surely going to go to the side of Zoobin now, as the accuracy is just 0.05 apart.
Yeah, 3 unanswered misses from Basil, but they still have the accuracy, but just by the slightest of margins. There are still some pretty tricky LN sections. These trills are easy to trip up on if you are not careful, as they do kind of change up a little bit, but Zoobin has been just holding that combo down, and if they can beat out Basil in the accuracy department, they are keeping them in check. But Basil finds a miss. That is going to help Zoobin a lot. But here we go into this inverse section again. This is where Zoobin messed up last time, and I think there's another one of those long jacks. Basil now below the Zoobin's accuracy, but this is definitely a gold spot to climb up that accuracy.
And it'll be tragic if we do see a miss from Zoobin. We are out of the inverse now. Only 6,000 points separate these players, and that is not safe.
Yeah, 6,000 points, and starting to shrink as I did see Basil match up with Zoobin's accuracy, and now they're about to match up again as we head into the final third of the map. This is where things are definitely going to start to matter, as misses here are going to be absolutely crucial. And there's one from Zoobin. Is that going to be enough to swing it in Basil's favor, though? Basil with those 3 unanswered misses we saw, but that lead is starting to shrink and shrink. I think if Zoobin can just catch up to that 200 or 400 combo cap, that lead will slowly go back in their favor.
Yeah, but Zoobin also dropped a few 200s alongside the miss, so now below Basil's accuracy. So this lead's gonna shrink and start to close in towards Basil, but Zoobin would have to find another miss. But Basil!
Oh, Basil trades it! But that was a very clean break, though. They didn't drop as much accuracy as probably Zoobin wanted, but now that's going to give Zoobin the lead in the accuracy range by only 300 for percentage. There is still map, though. It's only 6,000 points. One break could do it all, and you must imagine Zoobin's nerves going into this final section as 99.3. It's still 300 of a percentage of difference, but as the map starts to close out, that lead kind of starting to stay in Zoobin's favor. There are more LNs, but it's not going to matter. Zoobin is going to take this and going to take a break point and make things 2-0, the first break point of this match. And oh my goodness. And yeah, you can see again, it's coming down to the misses, but Zoobin actually beat out Basil in misses. It just came down to that ratio and the 200 count as well.
Yeah, and that crucial miss from Basil at the end, just stopping the lead from going over to her.
Zoobin now on a break point has the range to pick whatever they want, and honestly, I'm thinking maybe one of those speed picks. You either go for speed 1 or for speed 2.
Yep. Definitely think you see a speed pick here. Especially from the performance on Rise 3.
Or they could also do Hybrid 3, because Hybrid 2, I don't think you should test your luck on Hybrid 2. Hybrid 3 is a lot more of a shorter pick. That is actually the shortest map in the pool, only about 1:12, I think. So, and they're actually gonna go for Rice 2. So gonna go for Blowers Plaza.
Yeah, very interesting pick, but it does kind of follow that same pattern as Rice 3. And, you know, maybe trying to stay away from those LNs, not too comfortable with them, as, you know, we saw that miss in Hybrid 1, based off of the back of those LNs.
And, I mean, yeah, this is a very short pick, so there's not really... This is the complete opposite of Hybrid 1, where if you find one miss, it's practically over because of how consistent these players are.
Yeah, minute 37. That is basically no time with the consistency that both these players have shown. I mean, both the maps so far made by a difference of misses. But they were, you know, quite a bit longer than this map as we get into Rice 2.
And here we go with Rice 2, the third pick of this match. This is also Zoobin's pick, so let's see if they can capitalize off of their break point. And here we go in with the first trill section of this chart. Not going to be messing up anybody as we head into some jacks. This map, not the hardest, 142 BPM, so it's not the fastest thing in the world, but there definitely is a lot of points where you can mess up if you are not careful.
And the acts are so close right now. 449 points.
Here comes some mini jacks with some tricky flams to cap it all off. This is definitely a choking point for some players. And Zoobin finds the 200. I think Basil might have traded it back though. But it's 700 points in their favor. But as Basil finds 300s, it kind of just goes back into Zoobin's favor. But now, oh my goodness, it's starting to cement. I mean, it's pretty much way too close to just... It's way too close for comfort, but it's starting to hang around in Zoobin's favor. As, oh, Basil finds a pretty nasty drop in act. And also finds a break on top of it now from a lead of triple digits. Now goes into the 5-digit range.
Yeah, a miss and a bunch of bad judgments. As Basil will find another down to the 98% accuracy in this 52k lead for Zoobin. Zoobin's just holding on, but will find a miss towards the end of the map.
Yeah, it's not really gonna matter where you find misses anymore, as you already have a 46,000 point lead, and Zoobin looking pretty dicey near the halfway mark of the map, but unfortunately Basil did find a little bit of a slip up somewhere throughout the chart, and that was basically the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I said, you cannot find a single break in this chart, and it's pretty much over because of how consistent both of these players are, and Zoobin is going to capitalize off of their breakpoint and make things 3-0, and it is Basil's turn to pick.
Yeah, Basil maybe not feeling too comfortable with the ult on the right hand, causing a few of these misses. And, you know, where do you go if you're Basil? Maybe stick to those LNs or hybrids.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe they can test their luck on Kamui or SV if they learned it, or you can go in on a sight read and just pray that your opponent also is going in on a sight read.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see the SV pick, since, you know, Basil is that one of those top SV players. Very comfortable on it.
Yeah, if Basil is on a mission to learn an SV map, they will do it and do it to the best of their abilities. 998k V1SS or something insane. They will basically treat SV like it's light work if they actually are willing to grind for it. But we're gonna have to see what they want to go for. I mean, it's definitely points like these where you basically played every single like kind of variety of map. You played Rice, you played Hybrid. It's either you go for the speed or LNs. And oh, Hybrid 3, so it's gonna be Durst Day. And this is another chart where you cannot miss, like, at all. This map is the shortest map in the pool, just barely being above a minute. It's, I believe, a minute 12, if I'm right. Yes, I am correct. So there is next to no map where you can mess up on your end. This is very crucial as well for Basil. They need to take this point, because they cannot afford to give another break point over to Zoobin, as if they do, that will put them in a really good position to take things to a match point situation. Because if they win this pick, they'll be up 4-0, and then if they pick a map and win on that, they're at 5-0, and that's a match point situation. And I mean, this map, 160 BPM, I feel like Basil could take out this lead. They just need to lock in pretty much. No players can afford.
Is really going to come down to who misses more.
Yeah,
if at all.
This is the map of the slightest of errors. If one of these players mess up to the slightest degree, it's going to be over. And here we go. So far, pretty good beginning. Basil finding a couple 200s, but there are still more of these pretty fast mini jacks and awkward flams and trills to catch up on, and Zoobin is actually starting to trade back those 200s. But Basil finds a break, and that pretty much, unless Zoobin finds a nasty break like that. But Zoobin trips on the SV! Oh my goodness! And now that lead is right back in Basil's favor. There is still more of this map to go, but I think even with that, you dropped through almost 3%. And that lead is 12,000 points in the final third of the map. Just as... Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, but Zoobin is starting to claw back this lead. I mean, I don't know if it's entirely possible or not. It feels like the map's already starting to end.
Yeah, there's not much left to miss on. And Zoobin just rushing that entire right column, dropping that 3%. And like we said, that's gonna be it. And Basil will take the map and deny that break point.
Yeah, it was just in the blink of an eye. It's pretty much a blink and you'll miss it situation in Basil. Going to get on the board, make things 3-1. As the mapper put it best, this map is 1 femtosecond, which is equal to 10 to the power of -15.
Holy.
That is, I believe, somewhere around a billionth of a second.
I'd believe it.
Something around that. Maybe even a bigger number. Who knows? And they're gonna go for speed too. Zoobin is going to opt for that second speed pick, and I mean, that's definitely a pick that I would feel most comfortable on if I'm Zoobin. As this is the test of how fast you can go. This is pretty much for any Clone Hero players, this is Exile Lord's speed test pretty much.
Speed test, but you only have 2 lanes. And you're not allowed to rake strum.
Yes, yeah, speed test, but the BPM never changes. I wonder if rake tapping is doable with only 2 keys.
Yes.
You would have to, like... I could see it happening. You could probably do it with, like, the arrow keys. Like, just...
Yeah.
Like bind
just
them to,
Chad
like...
rake it.
yeah, just Chad rake the arrow keys.
If you aren't a Clone Hero player, you have no idea what we are talking about.
Do I give a lesson on what rake tapping is?
Maybe.
Or I think rake strumming would be easier to explain. So rake strumming is when you either mod your guitar or you spread your fingers out to a certain point where if you strum down or up, you pretty much add an extra input, which helps. Which rake strumming is used for playing charts that have a really high notes per second strum section, which, I mean, comes in really handy, especially for Solus 4. Soul of a Robot A, absolutely detrimental. But here we go, underway with Speed 2. Will these players rake tap the speed sections?
Probably not, as that would lose you a lot of act, as we are tied to the first 25 notes.
Yeah, both these players just kind of have the V2 double S going, but here we go. Ooh, Zoobin finding an early break! Kind of messing up on that mini jack. Messing up on that early mini jack, but those trills do spike up to around 300 BPM, so you do have lots of map to redeem that, because that was very early on. Just as long as you can nail these 300 BPM trills, and ooh, Basil manages to hit that, but I saw that unstable rate really hit that late section, and they are starting to trail behind a bit, hitting really late, and there's a break, and that lead is going to go right back into Zoobin's favor, but that's only by roughly 5,000 points.
Yeah, Basil seemingly uncomfortable on this 300 BPM, but a lot of people are, as Zoobin's gonna find a break. And that's gonna even us back up. But Basil does have the combo advantage. And a bit of an accuracy lead, about 0.10.
Yeah, and it's starting to go towards Basil's side as they cross that 400 combo cap mark. Zoobin is on pace as well to cross the 400 combo cap, which can help ease the bleeding, but it's only by 2.7k points. And as we head onto a more jack-based map, this is 150 jack. Nothing really too hard for these players to hit as they ease through that jack section. But more of these trills. But oh, both players trade misses. I think that was at the exact same note as well. So no harm, no foul.
Basically tied up now. But a rush of goods and greats.
No, Basil dragged on that section. They were dragging those catch. Now this lead increases to 14,000 points.
We hit the break. Zoobin in the lead. Up that 400 combo cap as Basil's gonna find a break in the combo section in the build-up. And that's gonna give Zoobin a little bit more of a lead as Basil will drop another.
Yeah, and Zoobin basically in the driver's seat as it seems like Basil starting to run on the stamina, and even with Zoobin finding these breaks at the end, it's not really going to be doing much to them as Basil is trying their hardest to hold that combo, but when you're nearing this end of the map and 50,000 points is in your opponent's favor, there's nothing really much you can do, and Zoobin is going to make things 4-1 and winning off of their own point, and you can see very solid misses from miscounts from both players, extremely close. Just came down to those 200s, and Zoobin found a way less amount than what Basil found.
Yeah, Basil's maybe struggling on that right column, the right hand coming into effect. And it's going to be Zoobin going up 4-1.
And it is now Basil's turn to pick what they want. And honestly, if I'm Basil, I don't know. I don't know what I would go for.
I go SV here if I'm Basil, honestly.
Yeah, SV seems to be your safest bet. As I mean, even if Basil did not practice the SV, they are really good at sight reading, as any SV player would, honestly.
And there's the question.
Basil's asked the $1 million question: did Zoobin practice the SV? And they did. Could this be a mind game? Could this be a mind game, though?
It could be.
Could this be a mind game from Zoobin? Is this them wanting to steal on the split?
No comment on how much. It is a mind game.
Oh my goodness. This is the question if Zoobin wants to split or steal here. And I honestly, if I was Basil, just go on a gamble and do it. Because you're starting to run out of picks. Yeah,
full send an SV here.
Or you can also go for speed 1, which is a bit less dense than speed 2. But also, go with your gut.
There it is, SV.
And there it is, SV Basil going big. Gonna see if the $1 million question paid off.
This SV is really fun.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't have to look far to know that this SV is fun. Niv has been absolutely cooking up some amazing SV charts throughout this tournament. So I would reckon that this map, definitely as it follows most of Niv's SV charting, definitely isn't what you would expect for a regular SV chart. A lot more experimental with basically what you're hearing, as that's mainly the pattern of most SV charts, as they try to kind of either put it under two categories. It's either more reading based or more memory based. While Niv tries to add a bit of both, as what I would like to say, based off of my previous experience with watching these SV maps get played, is that kind of Niv kind of likes to just mix the bowl and add a bit of both, of reading and a bit of memo, but also just tries to experiment as much as they can with the SV.
Yeah, it is very fun though. As we get in to the SV, and we'll get to see how much Zoobin practiced. Is it enough to take it off Basil?
Was this all a mind game? And it looks like both these players have practiced. But this is the beginning where the jumps aren't that severe, the teleports aren't the most hardest thing in the world, and Zoobin finds a couple 200s on them though, and finds a bit more. That's going to give Basil a 7,000 point lead, however. But we just started off this map. And more teleports. Zoobin finds some bad judgments. And now it's about a percentile of difference. Oh, but Basil finds a break! And another one! Oh my goodness!
Basil tripping up in the speed up. But Zoobin pressing too early in the stall.
Yeah, Zoobin gets tripped up and finds another trip up as well. And now it is a 2,000 point differential, and both players missing at the exact same part of the map. As these awkward timings start coming down, you don't know when you're supposed to hit, so you just hit whatever. You just start ghost tapping until the note hits the playfield or hits the receptors. And Basil ahead by just slightly 2,000 points as more of these teleports, kind of these stop and go sections. And Zoobin finds another break. Basil starting to gain in accuracy now.
Yeah, and having the combo closer to that 400 combo cap. There's a bit of teleports and Zoobin ghost tapping into a miss.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. And Zoobin trying to ghost tap these teleports. Don't know when they're just gonna come raining down, and more of these kind of I don't know how you would put them. I guess this kind of out of nowhere teleports, as Basil is starting to really cement this lead in their favor. 97 and climbing almost at a 98 now.
Yeah, Basil definitely more comfortable, but
Oh!
finds a break.
But I think we're way too late in this map for any breaks to be happening, as that was just one, and Zoobin finding accuracy drops to trade back that miss. So it's not really going to be much of a much severe, as Basil still has a comfortable 30,000 point lead in their favor. And Bancho.
And
oh no!
Basil's
No!
game crashed.
No way! No!
Zoobin still didn't win.
Yeah, Zoobin somehow still did not win because Laser has not acknowledged that Basil has left a lot. That has to be the most depressing thing ever. And oh my goodness.
No way.
And that's going into Zoobin's favor, as the MP Link Shows left the match at the very end of the map too. So now Zoobin at a match point and a break point as well.
Yeah.
As I think we just have to fix the score. Wait, huh? What's going on? Do we keep the win for Zoobin or for Basil? They won on the stream with no disconnect, or with a disconnect. So are we?
I think we're asking the host.
Are we going? I mean, yeah, this is a bit awkward because normally, if a player disconnects, we just give the other player the win. But I mean, this was at the very end of the map where it showed even with Basil disconnecting, the map did finish and it showed they were still in the lead.
Yeah.
So I think Basil should take that point.
And it looks like Basil is gonna get the point.
Yeah, Basil going to take the point. So Zoobin up now to pick. I don't know what Zoobin would go for, honestly.
Speed 1, maybe?
Yeah, round out those speed picks. Possibly.
Although maybe not. Basil really wanted that to be picked, so maybe a bit of mind game here too. It doesn't want to pick speed 1.
I think they could go for Circus Gallop. That'd be really funny because I love Circus Gallop as a song.
Yes, it is such a good song.
Banger. Banger. Oh, speed 1 going in. Zoobin claiming the mind game. Zoobin calling out Basil for the mind game and gonna opt for speed 1.
Yeah, both players playing mind games on each other. Zoobin trying to bait Basil in the SB, and now maybe Basil trying to bait Zoobin in the speed 1.
If I crash again, I'm crashing out IRL. Wiser words haven't been said. That is absolutely true.
Yeah, Basil just having such bad tech issues.
If the game crashes, you crash. Crash out.
Your game crashes, you just fall over. As we get into speed 1.
Yeah, here we go. But beyond, this isn't as dense as what speed 2 was, so I would say it's a bit more of an act battle than anything. Ooh, Zoobin picking up some early bad judgments. That's gonna give Basil a slight lead heading into the first major troll session. Oh, but Basil trades it with a miss!
Man, that's a really unfortunate one too, because Zoobin now at the 400 combo. So start increasing this lead, is down in the accuracy. So once Basil gets back to that 400!
And Zoobin... Oh, wait, but Basil trades it back! So that is one extra miss on Basil's side. Zoobin still has that lead, roughly by 8,000 points. And as we get into the trills of map 276. Not going to catch up anybody, as they're fairly simple to nail. Heading into the back half now, roughly 0.2 of a percentage as that lead starts to increase as Zoobin is about to cross that 400 combo cap, but Basil is so close as well.
Yeah, 10,000 points separating the players. As we pick back up with the anchors. Both players handling it well.
Yeah, final quarter of the map, Zoobin, 10,000 points in their favor, but Basil is catching up. Zoobin just needs to lock in on this final section. They cannot afford anything, and neither can Basil. Both players need to stay dialed in for this final part if any of these players want to take this victory. And as Zoobin starts to increase that accuracy, that lead starts to increase for them. And as we near the end of the map, Zoobin is looking like they're going to be taking things to a match point situation.
And that they will, holding throughout the outro, both players. But it's not enough from Basil. Just the double miss, too strong. And Zoobin will go to that match point.
Yeah, gonna head to the match point situation, but it is Basil's turn to pick. Zoobin did win on their own pick. So you're gonna have to see what Basil wants to go for. And okay, Zoobin. So Zoobin is becoming Nathaniel II. With
Yeah,
that ratio, with that godly ratio.
kinda mad when Nate beat it.
But we're gonna have to see what Basil wants to go for. This is I don't know, because Basil did ban LN2, but Zoobin banned LN2. So I'm thinking that they're gonna stay away from the LNs. It's either gonna be Hybrid 2 or Race 1. Those are the two maps I'm thinking that Basil is gonna go for.
You know, honestly, if I'm Basil, I pick Tiebreaker.
Yeah, true. If I were Basil, I would pick Tiebreaker. Or you can do the almighty exclamation mark roll.
True.
The awesome exclamation mark roll 4 to roll for the 4 remaining maps.
Little right swamp pick from Basil. And we get
we're gonna
Circus
see
Gallop.
Circus Gallop. Hell yeah. We are just picking bangers.
For those of you who don't know, this song was made for an auto-playing piano. I think one of the earliest iterations of what is known now as Black MIDI, where the notes are so tightly packed on the sheet music that they look black.
This was basically the Rush E before Rush E happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually know this map from the insanely well done piano pack that's like loved, I think.
That is also
think,
where I know this one from.
Yeah, that's where I first heard this from, and I'm pretty sure it's under the name Hell Circus in that
That
one.
is what it is.
But oh my
There's
goodness,
a 4
if
key,
you
a
have the
7 key,
chance,
and a 10 key version of it.
and a 5 key version.
Oh, true.
If
Forgot
you,
about that one.
I really suggest that you, after this match, you go. First, you watch the showcase, then you play this map.
Yep.
As it is such a fun map.
Match point golf from Basil.
Yeah, we are getting the golf underway. The better version of saying good luck, have fun.
Yep. It's also just, it implies that it's golf rules, so Basil's actually winning.
Oh yeah, true, because the least amount of points win. As it stands, both players hitting that beginning fairly well. This is 180 BPM, so I believe it's a bit faster than Rice 2.
These patterns are also pretty tricky.
Yeah, those very tricky mini jacks on the right-hand side. Not gonna catch anybody off though. But Basil misses on those doubles. And these fast trills, they rush on that section. That's gonna give Zoobin around 15,000 point lead.
Yeah, Zoobin's gonna continue to hold on to this 99.9. And another rush on the side of Basil, but does manage to hold combo.
Yeah, but these fast mini jacks come raining down, not gonna catch up anybody. But Basil misses on that transition. As it's now, I think, 4 unanswered misses. Zoobin still at that 99.8 range. What are you doing?
Worst Rice map, by the way.
And here comes the ending section where it starts to hit the fan.
Yeah, this is where the pattern's
It's only
really rough, and it only gets harder.
Yeah, it only gets harder as the map progresses. And here we go. The very hard jacks coming in. Zoobin finds a miss, but Basil finds a more rougher miss. And as the final pianos come raining down on this map, Zoobin gonna come out victorious, 6-2. And ladies and gentlemen, our podium is gonna be fully British.
The British are too strong in the 2-key variant.
Yeah, the British are going to be reigning the podium as, unfortunately, we're going to have to say goodbye to the legendary Basil, as Zoobin has just punched their ticket into the Losers Grand Finals to have a match against the absolute underdog that is Mini Egg. I thought this was a continuation of Circus Gallop for a second. But then again, congratulations to Zoobin redeeming themselves from the winners quarterfinals match. Not a sweep, but winning. And unfortunately, that is the end of the line for Basil. They had one hell of a run, but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up the finals. There were 3, and here is your top 3. Miniegg_23, Zoobin4, and the one in the winner's bracket, Nathaniel, also known as Eliminate294. There's only one thing left to show you guys this weekend, and that is the Grand Finals map we'll showcase, which we don't know when that'll be happening. Stay tuned for that. I think due to some delays and such, we are going to be streaming at a different time than 21 UTC, but just stay tuned for the announcement. But for now, Maddy, do you have anything else to close off the stream with?
I do not, other than that I'm excited for the matches in the Grand Finals.
Yeah, you do not want to miss out on any of those matches. They're going to be insane. You're not going to want to miss those. But anywho, I've been Arizona. You've been watching Sparxe 2-Key event presented by Joke. Goodbye.